Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, hello, my name is Orlagh, and today I thought I would share with you my tips on travelling to Copenhagen, especially as a vegan. So if you want to know my tips, where's good for vegan food, which places are cool to visit, then just stay watching. So we went to visit Copenhagen back in January, so it was quite cold and it was like the off season, and we stayed in a place called Steelhouse Copenhagen, which was great. It was just somewhere we could rest our head and go to sleep. We didn't really spend too much time there, but they did have really nice areas. They had a small pool. It's great if you wanted to cook your own food while you were there because they had a separate kitchen, and overall we really liked it, and it was quite a good price for the budget we wanted to spend. In terms of money, it depends on your budget, it depends where you live originally. We thought Copenhagen was one of the more expensive cities we've travelled to, but we do live and make money in Spain, so comparatively it was more. But I have friends who live and work in London who didn't really see too much of a price difference, so I'm not going to focus too much on that because it's going to depend so much person to person. And I'm also going to share the links to my Google Maps where I plan out all of my trips in case you're interested, and then you can just have everything good to go from there. So I'm going to divide this video into two parts. One, the restaurants and the cafes we visited, and then two, my tips on the place in general, what I thought was good, what I thought was maybe not so good. And make sure you stay tuned until the end because I have a secret top tip I want to share with you. So starting with breakfast or brunch, which for me is one of my favourite meals of the day, and we really enjoyed this cafe called Dreamy. I mean, you can just have a look at yourself at these pictures. It's absolutely designed to have photos taken of it with its beautiful pink floral walls. Everything's really aesthetic. You can tell this place was made to be Instagrammed, let's be honest. So we had a brunch board here and the pink waffles. Sorry, dirty mind. And everything was delicious. It's a little bit out of town depending on where you plan to spend the rest of your day, but we found it quite good value for money compared to other places we've been to for brunch. Everything was really tasty, it was flavoured well, and the staff were friendly too. So I definitely recommend Dreamy for brunch. The other place we went to for brunch was a place called Cafe Feel Good, and we liked this place as well. I think comparatively you got less food for your money, but they have really beautiful brunch boards. They set them out really nicely. You have different, a couple of different options. This place wasn't exclusively vegan, I don't think, but there's lots of other healthy options on the menu, and of course vegan options. And we had the brunch board, which was nice. I think it was a bit too light. I was a bit hungrier than the amount of food that you were given, but it was still really tasty and really well presented. So when you're walking around all day, you got your sore feet, you're thinking, I need me a coffee. So we went to a place called the Coffee Collective, which is actually inside this beautiful food market. And I can't remember what we had now. I think we just had 2 oat milk lattes or cappuccinos, but their coffee was really nice, and they've got a really good reputation as being known as a local favourite too. And you can look around the market while you're there. It's really beautiful, especially on a cold day because it's so cosy in there. And one thing that they do really well, I mean in Denmark in general, but we've only been to Copenhagen, is the idea of hygge. So everything is cozy, fairy lights, you see lots of people around having a drink together, having a nice time with friends. And in every cafe we went to, you could really see that. There were blankets on the back of chairs, everything was really cozy, and I guess because it was winter time too, you had that added coziness when you came in outside from the cold. So I definitely recommend this place. It was quite busy and there was a queue. It was quite hard to find a seat, but it was definitely worth it. And even if you get your coffee to go, you can look at the market at the same time. If you're fancying something more like a coffee and a cake, we went to this place called Calf, and oh my god, their vegan cheesecake was to die for. It was so good. They have such a large selection. There's, you know, it's not the biggest of cafes, but there's enough space inside for you to relax and have a cup of coffee or tea or anything you like with a cake. We had, I can't remember the name of the one we had, but I know that the lady said it was like a Copenhagen speciality, and it had orange zest in it and cinnamon. I'll try and remember the name, but it was really good. And then the last sweet place, I'm definitely gonna butcher this name, is Lardbageriet, and this place had really nice vegan cinnamon rolls. I think they were gluten-free, so they weren't cinnamon rolls in the way I would make them personally, like really doughy, because I'm pretty sure they were gluten-free, but they were really nice, and the lady was really sweet. They had other different types of traditional bread and other vegan options too. So if you kind of want to grab something in the morning, like a pastry or something quick and easy for breakfast, that's a great option. Now moving on to savoury things. Yes, I know, I definitely have a sweet tooth. We went to Copenhagen to celebrate our anniversary, so we had booked for a really nice set menu in a restaurant called Host, and it's really popular and for good reason. They had a vegan set menu and a non-vegan one, so I opted for the vegan one. And I don't think these pictures right now are going to do the dishes any justice. It was traditional food with a twist. Everything was so well thought out. Everything was honestly divine. And the nicest thing there was this pickled pine cone. And if you said to me, you'd really enjoy eating a pickled pine cone, I'd go, you're having a laugh, son. But it was so good. It honestly tasted like eating the forest with caramel, which isn't surprising considering the fact it was a literal pine cone. But the atmosphere is so nice, it's so cozy, again with the lights, fairy lights, candlelight, and we had a really nice time there. It was more of a special occasion place for us anyway, but we enjoyed that a lot. And then, as I said, because we went on a bit of an off season, unfortunately some of the places we really wanted to try were closed. There was a place that caught my eye called MaderItaly, mainly because they had a vegan cheese board, which looked amazing, and when I found out it was closed I was really upset. So I can't recommend it because I've not been there, but it looks amazing. So if it's open when you go, definitely give it a little look. And finally, for food, if you're looking for something a little bit quicker at the end of a long day of sightseeing, we went to a place called Ramen to Büro. I think I'm saying that correctly. And we each had a bowl of ramen. Again, there's vegan options at this place. It's not exclusively vegan, so I had the vegan ramen, and it was nice. It wasn't the most amazing ramen I'd ever had, if I'm being completely honest, but for what you got and for the price, it was a nice place to drop in. It was quite popular, so I think depending on the time you would have to queue. But I do find sometimes places that aren't exclusively vegan, the vegan option doesn't tend to be the best. It tends to be a place, my boyfriend had a beef ramen and he said that was great, so maybe it's just a place where the vegan option isn't as strong. But in terms of somewhere for a quick meal in the evening after a long day of sightseeing, we enjoyed it, and it did the job on making my stomach feel warm on a rather cold day. Okay, so now moving on to what you can do in Copenhagen. I mean, it's such a beautiful city. You can walk around and see so much anyway. We took in a lot of the cute side streets, lots of street art and things like that. But I do, when I go away, like to have more or less of a plan of things to do, just so I don't miss anything. But then you need that balance between seeing enough and feeling like you've really seen a city, but also enjoying it and making sure your legs don't fall off. So it's a balance you need to strike right. But I don't think you can look at a picture of Copenhagen without seeing this famous sight of all of the beautiful coloured buildings alongside the dock. And this is a place called Nyharse, and it's all along the waterfront. And these colourful buildings are either, I think some of them are houses, but some of them are cafes, some of them are shops, and you can just see a lot of people walking by, taking in the beautiful view. There's a small bridge with the love locks, which is really pretty, and it's just lovely. It's a nice place to go, take a couple of photos, sit and have a drink and take it in, and it's really beautiful, so you can't go to Copenhagen without seeing that, in my opinion. And another place which is slightly further down the road, but we found it to be a bit quieter, was Christianshave. I'm sorry to any Danish people if I'm butchering your beautiful language with my not so amazing pronunciation, but we found this place to be a little bit quieter. It still had a couple of the colourful buildings and it was really nice. So maybe if you go in a busier season, it's a good idea to go see that place too. So one of the most famous landmarks in Copenhagen is the Little Mermaid, and this is a bronze sculpture which sits on a rock just slightly out to the water. It's a lot smaller than I thought. I don't know what I thought in my mind, but it's a little bit smaller, and it's a character from a H.C. Andersen fairy tale, and it's definitely worth a look. Again, I think because we went off peak it wasn't too busy, whereas I've seen pictures of where there's a lot more people, and it is really nice. I think it's one of those things where maybe because it's photographed so often, when you actually see it in real life you feel like you've already seen it even though you haven't, and maybe because of that it's maybe a bit less impressive. I wasn't blown away by it. It's still beautiful and it's still worth seeing, but you can definitely add it to like the end of a walk or a start of a walk and have a look. There's so many other nice things in the area, so it's well worth the see, but I wasn't blown away, to be honest. One thing that I was blown away by, I thought it was beautiful, was Frederiky Church. So we did go inside, but you don't necessarily have to. I think the exterior is more beautiful really. It's the green marble dome that you often see in postcards or maybe photos of Copenhagen, and you can sit in the square and look out with it in the background, or you can go inside and take a look. And the area in general is a really nice place to walk around. The church itself is really nice. You can sit in there and have some quiet time if that's your thing, and it's just a really beautiful thing to take in general. There's a cool place, and by cool I actually mean temperature wise as well, because it was freezing the day we went there, called Ofelia Plads, and this is like it's hard to describe. It's like a kind of cultural site where they have pop-up art exhibits, or we saw this kind of triangle geometric structure that was actually under reconstruction when we went. Again, this is a problem with going off season, but then it's cheaper, so you've got to find a balance somewhere. And you could see people sitting around, hanging out, and it's just kind of a cool place to go see. Again, not something that's necessarily on the must-see list, but if you can incorporate it into the end of a walk. We like to walk a lot when we go away, so you do end up seeing things like this naturally on the way anyway. If you are a bookworm like me, the Royal Library is beautiful inside and out. You've got like the really modern structure that you can see across the water, and then in the inside it's kind of mixed between traditional and modern, and there's all different sorts of sections, so that's definitely a place to go check out if you like books. One of my favourite places that we went to go see was the Botanical Garden, and it's free to get into, and you can take a walk around and have a look at all the nice flowers and the trees, but my favourite part was inside the greenhouse. So the greenhouse costs €8 I think it was to get in, and it's so lovely in there. We spent about an hour in there. It was great because it was warm inside, and it really was pretty cold outside. But there's so many different types of plants in there. There's 2 beautiful spiral staircases, and it's just really nice. I definitely suggest going to have a look. And the smell is incredible, just smells so green and fresh. So it's nice when you're in a city, I think, sometimes to go find that bit of green respite. What can I say? Vegans do love plants. And second to last on my list is a place I found really quite interesting. It's called Freetown Christiana, and it's basically a commune. So if you look Freetown Christiana up, you can read a lot about the history of how it came to be, but it's basically a commune which more or less lives outside of certain laws, unless they've changed that recently, but that's what I read. And you basically walk through these arches, and there's a lot of different groups there who are either selling things like crafts, some other type of plant related things, if you get my drift, and there's lots of street art and things like that. I must admit I was a little bit disappointed, because what I'd read about it was that there were like vegetable gardens and it was all really nice, and maybe it was the weather again, I don't know, but I was picturing this like kind of cool commune with just veg everywhere, and it was a little bit run down in parts, but there was some really nice street art, especially this beautiful painting of this like otherworldly fairy type thing, which I think was really beautiful. So it's one to see if you're intrigued in that kind of thing. There were a lot of people walking in and out. There's a few zones where you can't take photos for some obvious reasons, but yeah, it was a cool experience. I need to find another word for cool, don't I? And last but not least, I don't think you can mention Copenhagen without talking about the Tivoli Gardens. Now, unfortunately, we didn't check this in advance, but the Tivoli Gardens were closed when we went, so that was a bit of a pity. I think maybe in the future we go back just to go see those. If you don't know, it's a big theme park, and they often change the theme of the theme park itself. So near Christmas they do it up to be really festive and beautiful, and then throughout the year they have other themes. So my top secret tip, which if you were watching from beginning to the end I will now give you, is this. If the Tivoli Gardens are closed, or maybe they're open but you just don't fancy going in, after all, I can't remember exactly the entrance fee, but some people don't really like theme parks anyway. Maybe you think it's a bit too expensive to just walk around if you don't want to go on the rides, which I think you might also have to pay more for, I don't know. But there's a hotel right next to the Tivoli Gardens called Nim, and if you go through the main doors in the hotel and follow the signs for the bar, there's a really beautiful bar where you can sit and have a cocktail, and the windows lead out to Tivoli Gardens, so you can sit in the warmth, enjoy a cocktail while looking at the view. So I hope you enjoyed this video. These were my tips and tricks on how to explore Copenhagen as a vegan in particular. Obviously you can go to all of these sites if you're vegan or not, but if you are vegan and watching this video, you know that sometimes when you do travel it can be a bit stressful finding places that suit your lifestyle and diet needs. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below, have you been to Copenhagen? If not, is it on your list? And I hope to see you again around these parts soon. Thank you, bye!